Joining us right now. Now, normally you see Jason next to me, but Katie's filling in for Jason. So, Kevin, you're going to have to slog through it on the Red Velvet Lounge, brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Katie, Kevin, Dave, good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. I like that. The Red Velvet Lounge. That's a nice little, it's nice and creative.
Get some soft music, get welcome into the Red Velvet Lounge, who will be very soon.
Oh my gosh, you're going to be the hype man for the Red Velvet Lounge.
100%.
You'll be good at it.
This is a Red Velvet hive right here, Katie. And soon the man, the myth, the legend is going to be shooting lots of 3-pointers. Since we last talked, we were crossing our fingers. We were hoping. Your boy Fox, I think, let the cat out of the bag a little early, but you are going off to All-Star Weekend in the 3-point contest. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, the cat is out of the bag. Obviously, Fox was not brought up to speed on. We were keeping that under wraps for a couple weeks. I think I found this out. It was like 10 days ago. Found out on the road. Monty and Wes came up and let me know I was getting treatment. Like literally getting my back rubbed. I was like face down on a table, and it came up and gave me the news. And Fox broke it to the world a week and a half later. So here we are.
Hold on a second. I'm doing math here. Let me see.
And the smoke is coming out of his ears.
Yeah, carry the one. Hold on. So you found out 10 days ago, and God, Kevin, I want to say we talked to you less than 10 days ago. Do you have something to tell us, friend?
We did, yes. I think it was still unclear, the situation. Sure. It wasn't official until it became official. But I think Fox made official. He spoke it into existence.
Well,
he has the ability to do that. He kind of he has the power, if you will. But I'm curious. It's totally different, right? A 3-point shooting contest versus like shooting in games. Which do you prefer? Just the spot up? Because I think every shooter does, because it's almost like muscle memory. You don't have to focus on anything. Everything is straight. So in your head, you're like so much easier than game shooting.
Yeah, I mean it's an adjustment. First of all, like taking the ball off a rack. It's not like it's the hardest thing to do in the world. It's just something that it's different. Like if you're smart, you should prepare for it just to catch your rhythm. And like anything else, the game is different when you're shooting in a gym by yourself and you're shooting catch and shoot jump shots from a coach, and then you get in the game. It's a different energy. It's a different dynamic, and kind of the same I'm expecting goes for this. Like I can sit here in a gym and I can shoot 100 shots in the gym, shooting the ball off a rack and shoot really well, but you never know how it's going to go until you're in the game, in this case, in the competition, doing it in person when the lights are on and everybody's watching. So I think it'll be similar. It's, you put in the reps behind closed doors when no one's watching to go out there and succeed when everybody is. So for me, it'll be fun. It's just another opportunity to go out there and compete against somebody.
I do have to ask though, you found out 10 days ago, right, Dave?
Yeah.
How many times have you recreated the competition and gone through it?
Yeah, I've done it now a couple days. I found out when we were on the road trip. So it's tough to do anything on the road. And the ball racks, even when you're at the arena, the ball racks that we have in the arena, like they're higher. They're not at the competition. They'll be a little bit lower. There's no top rack. You can take them off easier. So it's hard to replicate. That's where the video came out a couple days ago in Phoenix with our coaches sitting there holding it. And that's actually, if people haven't seen the video, that's actually more realistic than some of the racks. So I really was able to kind of dial in and truly practice once we got home off the road trip, and had a couple of our equipment guys go over to a local high school and pluck some ball racks, and we've been repping it out.
So I'm fascinated here. If they gave you an option of either plucking it off the rack or having, say, a teammate that's there like De'Aaron, who he was at a rack and he was just passing you the ball in rhythm, would you take him passing you the ball over the rack?
100%. I mean, I've taken thousands and thousands of shots from a coach or a player in my life where you're pass, catch, and shoot. And now I've taken a couple hundred where you're sitting there next to a rack and you catch and shoot. So it is different. It's just, like I said, the rhythm is different, but I would definitely take a pass 100%.
So All-Star Weekend it's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of responsibilities, media, the corporate kind of stuff. Aside from that, do you have your itinerary worked out? because there's also, and I'm assuming it's going to work the same way in Utah, but I'm wondering how, because we've all been to Salt Lake City. There's also a lot of events that you can participate in on the outside. Do you have a worked out itinerary, or do you have someone that is handling that for you? How does that work?
Yeah, luckily my agency handles a lot of that. It's a full itinerary. Domas really, I think this was like a week ago on the plane, kind of gave me a whole rundown of how this whole weekend goes. I have not yet been in my career to All-Star weekend. Even my first 2 years in the league, I was second team all rookie, but didn't make the rookie game that year. And so this was kind of, even for me, it was big. Like, you grow up, you watch these things on TV, and there's a lot of energy, and it's All-Star weekend. And I think for me, I want to experience that at least one time in person, hopefully more. But that was kind of a big thing for me doing it this year and trying to get in. Is obviously had a better year shooting the ball. But I definitely want to go and experience the weekend. So Domas said, he goes, people think when you watch it online or you watch it on TV that, like, hey, players show up to wherever it is, for in this case, Salt Lake City, and you show up to your contest or you show up to the All-Star game, and you might have practice in the morning and move on. And for most guys, it's like they have appearances all day. We have different events we have to do from the NBA that are mandated. We have a lot of different things, both professionally and socially, that we have to and get to show up to. So it becomes a full weekend that I think, Luka had a really funny quote yesterday. Someone asked him, like, what's he most looking forward to All-Star weekend? And he's like, when I get to fly to Mexico Sunday night. So there's guys like that luckily Luka's now in his fourth All-Star game. But guys, like, it becomes a lot. It's a lot of guys that their All-Star weekend, they get to get away and put their feet up. And the All-Stars that play on Sunday night, for the most part, are super busy all weekend and on their feet and taking pictures and doing a lot of smiling. So luckily for me, I don't have probably half the amount that Darren and Domas will be doing, and I get to get out of there Sunday morning. So for me, I'm super excited to be a part of it.
Kevin Huerter with us, brought to you by Jiffy Lube each and every week. I don't know if this is a trick of the trade, if this is a secret. If it is, you won't offend me, but have you already decided where the money rack's going to be?
Yeah, for me, I'm not a great, or at least this year, I haven't been great out of the corners. So I'm doing the opposite wing from where I'm starting. Okay. That way, hopefully, by that point, I'll be warmed up. I was going to put it either the wings. I think it's too much pressure you put at the top. I think, like, the no-brainer, if you haven't shot, like, put it at the top of the court. But for me, I've been better this year shooting from the wings. So it'll be the second to last spot before the final rack.
So I haven't had the opportunity, because I'm just a guest on this show. You're like a regular. I haven't had the opportunity to ask you kind of about the transition through the season. It was interesting because Domas spoke to Sam Amick of The Athletic, and he was mentioning and talking about the adjustment to the beginning of the year to now. Obviously, there's 25 games left in the season. You guys are familiar with each other, familiar with the system, everything. But he was talking about kind of the struggle at the beginning of the year of adjusting to new teammates and figuring out kind of what Mike Brown wanted, the positions he was going to be in, all of that stuff. And you coming as a free agent this summer, I'm curious your perspective on that in terms of what was the adjustment like and how does it feel now?
Yeah, it's obviously anytime you go to a new team and you have new teammates, there's an adjustment period. But I think it's, a lot that had to do with that is our style of play and how we play on both sides of the ball. Offensively, we have a lot of movement. There's a lot of flow. We play super fast. Offensively, we don't have a lot of isolation possessions and isolation plays. And there's times where De'Aaron will go get a bucket and Domas and HB at times will go get a basket. But for the most part, we're playing off each other and a lot of cutting and reading off each other and shooting a lot of threes, playing in transition. And then defensively, being in a help side, like we don't have a Rudy Gobert sitting in the paint. And we don't have, De'Aaron and Davion are our best on-point defenders. So a lot of the way our defense is structured is being a help for each other and trying to pack the paint, which both sides of the ball take a lot of practice. And it takes a little bit of time to get used to and get used to teammates and what they're thinking. And there's definitely the adjustment period. And so I think we're getting there. There's we start off the year obviously with 4 straight losses, and we're able to put together a good stretch. And we're sitting here at the 3rd seed in the West, and I think a top 2 offense in the NBA, if not the best offense in the NBA. But we still have a lot of work to do. There's definitely been games where teams have been able to take us out of what we do, and so we're still growing. We're still practicing. We're putting in new things offensively to try to get new looks and new movements. And defensively for us is always a work in progress, and watching film. And so there has been an adjustment period. I think that a lot of that just goes into our style of play on both sides of the court.
You walked us through last week how players get through the trade deadline, and how you did, and some of your teammates, and thinking about it from a player's perspective, which is what we love getting from you. Really, other than Kessler, no moves during the trade deadline. The Kings were the quietest team in contention. As a player, is it a balance between these are my guys, this is who we got to the dance with, and this is a vote of confidence from the front office, let's go out and kick some what? Or is there also, oh, wow, I really thought we were going to get a boost. It's always nice to get a boost as we go towards the playoffs and trying to win a chip. How do you balance that, or do you balance that psychologically?
Yeah, for me, there's a lot of that. The team building, I try to stay out of, just do my job, show up every day and get to work. I know that I've always thought this team was deep in training camp. There truly was a battle at every position, maybe not the center position or the point guard position, but every other position, there's guys that are multiple people deep, and you see we have injuries, guys go out, and there's somebody behind them ready to step up. And so I've always been confident with what we have. Obviously our front office has a lot of confidence in this group, and I just think as players and as a team as a whole, we just got to continue to try to get better.
We saw you a couple times a year when you were in Atlanta, which obviously is totally different. You came here, and I think the biggest surprise to me, maybe over the last 30 games or so, because I think it's been an evolution through the season, is your efficiency and ability to score within the arc, right? Like to get in around the paint, your ability to finish because of your size, taking it to the rack or, off the glass. But talk about kind of that process for you, because it's different playing alongside Trae Young and then playing in this system, and how defenses start to cue in on you a little bit differently.
Yeah, first and foremost, I think our system is really beneficial for somebody with me and my play style, getting to play off a lot of times Domas and space the court for De'Aaron. And we talked about it, the movement that our offense demands, I think is they all kind of go into what my strengths are, which is that movement, space in the court, shooting a lot of threes, playing fast. This team has definitely unlocked different things about my game. And we came into the season and not sure what my scouting report was, but I feel like I shot a lot of threes to start the year. And obviously I shot a high percentage. And then I feel like there's a big turn where even now, so it's, I got to really hunt my threes, and it's tough to get threes off. And, I've been watching a lot of film with Davidus and, other coaching staff and their members. And it's just trying to get in the paint. So many teams are closing out so hard to me and running me off the line that for me, getting in the paint is a little bit easier than it is for other guys, just because a lot of people are just playing top side and denying me the ball and forcing me to make plays inside the paint. And so it's just, like anything else, you practice it, taking a lot of reps in practice. And over the course of my career, I think I've been able to show a little bit of it. But, really this year, and I think our style of playing our offense and the unselfishness that everybody on the court plays with, I think it's been really beneficial for me and unlocked different things in my game.
When we come back, the Kevin Huerter Show continues. We'll ask him what he expects from the second half. And also, we have to ask him what he had to cancel to go to Salt Lake City this weekend. We'll be right back right after this.
Official.
All right. 3, 2, and 1. All right. Welcome back. Kevin Huerter Show brought to you by Jiffy Lube. And Kevin, Katie just asked you a great question and on your adjustments. You talked about start of the year compared to now, how they're running you off the line. So when that happens, your adjustments, because when they're running at you, that means they're not doing something else and that you're drawing that defense from something else. What have you found in your observation that defense is missing by adjusting to you and your lethal shooting, especially at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I would hope it's opening things up for other guys. It's I think that's also part of my job in this offense is taking attention off of the other guys that are on the court. And, if a lot of times, like I said, people are in denial on me or forcing me to cut back door, play in the paint, trying to limit my touches that are on the perimeter. And a lot of times it means that there's one less guy worrying about what De'Aaron's doing or digging down on Domas or trying to guard HB. And Keegan's been able to get freed up. And so I think it's just the way our offense flows. You take away one thing, it opens up something else. The defenses have guarded us differently over the course of the year, and we've been able to continuously adjust and put in new wrinkles and new counters to different actions to free guys up. And I think that's just part of my job, is obviously making shots when things are open, but also giving myself up and being selfless when people are trying to take me away.
Kevin, I brought it up the other day on the broadcast, and really I haven't talked about it up to that point. So I've only mentioned it once in the first, 50 plus games. But you talked earlier about having to hunt your shots a little bit more now, your threes, because of the way that teams are defending you and the type of play you had earlier in the season, which has adjusted everything. But Domantas Sabonis is by far the most underrated screener. We do not talk about it enough. He has such a lead in screen assist. He's number one in the league, and it's a huge gap between him and the second person. And I do find myself watching him a lot of just how he goes about setting screens. Can you talk about, as a shooter, what a luxury that is and kind of what makes him special in that category?
I think what makes him special and what's a luxury for me is his mindset about our offense. Like I truly feel like Domas takes a lot of pride in the way that we play and getting guys shots. And like Domas, I promise you, doesn't go into any game and is worrying about his own shots. Like, how many am I going to get up? I need to win my one-on-one matchup. Like, there's so many times where he's talking to guys and trying to get guys to cut to open up this guy, or he's like, hey, you need to come off and shoot. Like, that's your job. And this will open up this. Like, he thinks 2 and 3 steps and he thinks in layers that go within our offense. He's almost like just playing chess out there, that he's not worried about his own shot. He's truly trying to find the best shot for our team every possession. And so sometimes it's taking his guy one-on-one and scoring. A lot of times it's setting screens or you're pointing and telling guys to cut and you're getting De'Aaron open. Like there's so many layers that he tries to get to on our offense that's truly the best luxury. Like how many superstars, how many all-stars go into a game and are worried about how can I get everybody else shots that will in turn end up getting me shots and open up the game for everybody as a whole, not just how many times can I go put up 30 in a season.
And we've had players, Kevin, in the past talk about, and obviously not specifically, playing in a your turn, my turn offense and being afraid, you give up the ball on offense, you're not going to get it back. When you're playing with somebody like Domas, how contagious is that with everybody else knowing that, hey, odds are you're getting the ball back if you give it up?
It is contagious because I guess the guys who don't play the right way, it's very obvious when they don't. I think everybody on the court, we talk about trying to work for the best shot, and it's not taking the first shot. It's finding the best shot and playing, sometimes having to play deep into possessions. And it just goes back. It's our style of play. A lot of what we do in the flow of our offense has to do with playing off of Domas. Though De'Aaron is able to just kind of go get his own buckets sometimes and play out a pick and roll and ball screens and get in the paint. But a lot of the movement and flow is dictate off Domas and myself and Keegan and a little bit of HB. I think HB falls a little bit more in the De'Aaron category of being able to sometimes just go get his own bucket. And everyone that we bring off the bench, kind of fits in that play style. So it's a lot of fun to be a part of, to be honest. And it's an offense. I think if you ask a majority of the players around the league, one, they hate guarding it, but two, they'd want to be a part of it too.
Kevin, I've been with the Kings for 13 of the 16-year drought, right?
Your fault.
I am. I'm old. Yeah.
Your fault.
But I'm not as old as you. So that's all that really matters in this conversation.
Right.
But to the point, I've not seen an excitement around this team like this in quite some time. And the momentum that you guys have been able to build from the start of the season, a rough start, which when you consider all the factors, that it was really just 4 games that took you guys to figure it out before you were able to set yourself on the right path, is pretty amazing in my mind, with the amount of changes, both personnel and coaching staff. But when you look at the trade deadline and you look at the Western Conference and the amount of changes that were made, and not just changes personnel wise, but superstar changes, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and then you look at everything that LA has done. How does that recenter and refocus you guys in terms of what the last 25 games of the season are going to have in store for you, and the level that you guys have to play at both mentally and physically?
Yeah, for us, I think I really don't think the trade deadline added a new sense of urgency. I think we've felt that urgency from the start of the year. We know what drought this organization is in. There's no way to run from it. We've had goals since the start of the season that we kind of, in the building, we take care of and control what we can control, and that's how we play and the people that are on our team. And so there was a lot of teams that made a lot of changes at the trade deadline. It remains to be seen which ones work out and which ones don't. But for us, we're trying to end the drought. Obviously, we're trying to get in the playoffs, get home court advantage, and roll the ball out and play from there. It's our urgency hasn't changed. I think our front office showed again their confidence in this group to end that drought and get it done. But you talked about it. We have great momentum and there's a great energy about our team and I think our fans in this city. But the job's not finished. We still got 20 plus games to go. We got a lot of really good teams to play, a lot of teams that are right in the hunt that are with us. We don't have a big lead we're sitting in the 3 seed, but the changed all the way down to the 10 seed, 11 seed, and the Lakers and the Blazers are sitting down there those are good teams. So we know the task at hand. We haven't relaxed, and this All-Star break will be good to get away. But there's definitely a sense of urgency with this team to continue to try to win games.
All right, Kevin's got to get some sleep for this 3-point shootout. We'll end this way. If I remember correctly, you found out your phone was away from you at the time, but when you got traded, your agent called. You picked it up. I want to say I don't know if you were on a beach or at a pool or something. If I, as a time traveler, was right there, right after you found out from your agent you got traded, and I told you how the season was going to go, what would have surprised you the most? What has surprised you the most, whether it's about the city, the team, or any of that since you found out you got traded?
Yeah, I guess how quickly, it turned around. Our success up to this point, I think I was always really confident in this group. And you look at the West as a whole, I think the West, the last 4 or 5 years, has kind of been known as the better conference. And there's a lot of really good players and really good teams. That the West is super deep. There's a lot of depth. There's a lot more teams that are trying to win every night. And I think just how quickly we've done it. In my career, I've never sniffed the 3rd seed. I've made a playoff run and gotten to these Eastern Conference Finals, but over the course of a long season, I've never been a 3rd seed for as long as we have. And so that might be most surprising is how quickly we've done it. But like I said, we talked about it. The job's not finished. It's we still got a ways to go to get into the playoffs and reach our goals. But it's been a lot of fun. But the first thing my agent and Mike talked about was the style of play, how we were going to play, how the organization was trying to win and turn things around. And it's obviously nice to see so far it's come to fruition.
And what did you get close to buying tickets? We've been talking for weeks now about you finding a beach somewhere. I obviously you'd rather be in the 3-point shootout, but just a little bit disappointed about that beach, or
no? Like I said, I always want to do this. This was a goal of mine to make it in this competition. But I'll find a little getaway after All-Star break. Maybe whether it's a hotel somewhere. It probably won't be a beach, but
sure.
Probably missing out on. It was probably going to be Miami. Miami's easy. I've more friends on the East Coast, but it's all right. Miami gets to wait for the summer.
All right. Well, appreciate your time as always. Appreciate the first half, or really 2/3 of the season. Good luck out there. Obviously, we're all going to be pulling hard for you, and we're proud of you no matter what. So, really, honestly, great visits this year. Looking forward to the second half and all the adventures that are in store for you and your teammates. Thanks again, buddy.
Let's
Perfect.
see Kayvon at the 3-point shootout. Kayvon.
There we go.
Does that work for a 3-point shootout? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think? What do you think of the art behind Katie? By the way, I don't know what that is. Above her left shoulder, it's a weird taste in art. I'm trying to figure out what that is. Are those hands?
Just
Katie?
Because some of us have played the game, Dave, doesn't mean you need to hate on us for hanging it on a wall.
See you next week, brother. Have a good one.
See you guys.
All right, take care. That is Kevin Huerter on the Red Velvet Lounge, brought to you by Jiffy Lube. We will be right back.